Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another great edition of my Grue Rume Show. And for the Grue Rume Show today, I got a very awesome guest, and her name is Olivia Blue. She's an actress, a writer, and a producer, and she has a film out called Jupiter. And I'm really looking forward to talking to her about the film, about her acting life, her writing life, and her producing life. I am Rocco Cross. I am the host at Stutters. I am the host of the Grue Room, and my interview with Olivia Blue will be coming up very soon. This is my Grue Room, and as always, welcome to my nightmare. So stay tuned. Here we go. Okay, welcome to Grue, and thank you so much for taking time out of your day and coming on. I
Thank
appreciate
you
it.
so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Thank you, thank you. I have to say, I love the mic thing. Like, where did you wind up getting that at? Because I need it for when I when I'm actually home in front of my laptop. That's when I usually like do my interviews when I'm home in front of like the laptop, and I'm always looking for like a good mic, and yours looks good.
I have to tell you, my partner does a ton of voiceover, so I just
Okay.
steal the equipment. When I have a Zoom interview, I'm like, I'm gonna just take and like he sets it up for me. Like but I will ask him and I will send you. Because yeah, he has like a closet that's like fully like he has it all figured out.
Oh
But
my
yeah,
God.
I will it's not me. It's I just got very lucky.
Okay, there you go. So
The benefits of dating someone in the industry for
yeah,
sure.
right? Yeah, exactly. So I see you like do a little bit of everything. Like you act, you write, you produce. Like what got you into doing all of that, and what came first?
Yeah, that's a great question. I, like a lot of people, I think really fell in love with acting when I was a kid.
Mhm.
I saw a production when I was young and just like I was just my parents say just like sobbed uncontrollably because I was like, that's what I want to do. And they kind of kept me distracted from that. And then when I was 18, I was like, please let me audition for NYU. Like, I really, really want to do this. And they were like, okay, if you get into like a good school, you can do that. So I ended up going to Tisch for acting. And that's kind of where I got all my training. I didn't really have any experience before that. And NYU was really great. They got me representation once I graduated. It was really like a pretty smooth transition. And I just started working as an actor and in my early 20s kind of just was like not feeling like the roles for women and like especially a mixed race Asian woman, I wasn't really like feeling as fulfilled as I thought I would be. And so I started writing. I started working with my main creative partner, Catherine Dudas, who did Juniper with me. And like we have two other women, Decker Sadowski and Madison Lawler, that we work with a lot. We were like, let's write women that we like know and love and really like female forward stories that we're excited about. So that's just kind of where it all started. And it was the pandemic when we made our feature too. And I was like,
Wow.
I guess we're gonna learn how to produce. And we did. So it was all just kind of a natural movement, but it started with acting.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And what was like the first role like you ever had? Like whether it's like television or film. Like what was
Yeah.
like the first role?
Well, the first gig I ever did was when I was like 20. I booked a print campaign.
Okay.
And I remember just the paycheck. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. Like I was so, so, so excited. And then my first acting role was in this game's called Murder, which Adam Sherman did.
Yeah, yeah.
He did like wrist cutters and he has a really great crazy mind. And yeah, that was my first kind of exposure to like being on a set and like having a trailer and like all of that super, super fun stuff. And yeah, it was like it was definitely kind of overwhelming, but I remember like hair and makeup being like kind of taking me in, and there were a lot of like younger people on that set too. And so we all kind of like got to learn and grow together.
Oh well, I mean, I'm sure when you have a trailer, like you're like, all right, this is how it's gonna be from now on. I'm gonna have a trailer on every set, and I'm gonna have my own room, and
It's such a funny, yeah, I feel like it's such a funny industry where like you have days where you're just doing audition after audition and you're like, oh my God, this is really hard. And then when you actually book a job, you're like, wow, I understand why. Like I feel like you have to love both parts. You have to love like the grind and the rejection. You have to be like okay with the rejection and like just doing a million meetings and just like never knowing. But then, yeah, like it's really cool to go on a set and be like, there's a fire breather, like there's a crane. Like it's definitely like a very big up and down like industry, I feel like.
oh, definitely, yeah. And I know she did a lot of short films. Was there any short that you had the most fun with?
It's a really good question. Yeah, I did a lot of shorts in school just to kind of like learn how a set worked. And I worked on this really cool film that had done the Sundance Lab, called Big Bad Wolves. And I think it inspired me as a filmmaker too, because it was a female writer and director and female produced and a female DP, and like just
Oh wow.
seeing and like they really kind of like owned their female rage and like their just like it was just so like it was very girly. It was super pink and like feminine, and they didn't shy away from that, but it also was like very dark and like had a lot of dark themes. So that was really
Nice.
inspiring for me. And it was cool that it was like a Sundance lab. Um, short, and then one of the producers like went to work at Blumhouse. Like it was like a really cool like set that felt like a lot of mentor. I met a lot of like mentors on that set.
Okay, okay, nice, nice. And excuse me. And I noticed like the first like role you I mean like the first like lead role you had was actually for a television show, Waking Up Worried. So how did it feel to actually be like the lead for a show?
Yeah, I mean that was funny. So that's actually Catherine's show, Catherine Dudas, who I mentioned. And what she did that what was so cool with that was like every week she would make an episode. And it kind of had to do with like mental health, but it was really comedy forward. And when I met her, I was like obsessed, and I was like, I kind of was like, I have to be in this. So it was kind of like the beginning of our really long creative relationship, which was really nice. And then I actually just recently did my first lead in like a feature, which was Unexpected Treasures. And like that was a really new experience. But I think like doing that with her and like making my own work really like prepared me to really like take that step into like being number one on the call sheet.
Oh wow, okay. I know like there's probably like when you're the lead for something, there's probably like a lot of pressure because you know everything has to be around like your character if you're the lead, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think what was really challenging and fulfilling is like oftentimes that's the character the audience you want the audience to see themselves in. And I've definitely played a lot of like best friends, like quirky best friends, which is like always so fun. And you usually get like the best jokes and like really fun storylines and dialogue. But it's like with this lead, yeah, it's like you want people to relate to you and you don't want to do too much and you want to be kind of just as authentic as possible, which is something that I was like, okay, I really want to not get insecure about just like me as a person and just like show up and be as like sincere and genuine to like how I'm feeling as possible. And then also like on set, being someone that everyone feels like they can rely on and that they don't have to worry about me delivering a really strong performance and that they can be confident in that because there's so much going on. So many other things the directors and producers need to worry about. It's like all you want to do is give them a performance that they're like really, really excited about. Because it's a really important part of the movie. Like
Ah,
it's
yeah,
really helpful if people like the lead and like are, interested in what's going on.
true. And, and something I saw that you did, you were a host for like a Star Wars show. Like, is
Oh
that
my
something
God.
you
Yeah, that
did?
was so I actually love hosting too. And I love, yeah, learning about people and asking them about their careers. And yeah, there was this really big YouTuber, Star Wars Theory, and it was a really big deal because his identity was like a really big secret. And
Oh,
this was like the show where he was revealing his identity.
oh,
And
okay.
so I was there interviewing him about that and also like, yeah, interviewing the other actors, but yeah, it was, I remember like the internet was really freaking out when he like showed his face, which like, yeah, I mean, I think it just shows like the internet is such a powerful place and like
Oh, it is.
yeah, it's like it was a wild experience. And like my dad loves Star Wars, so it was a really it was kind of a fun thing to do like for that too. I got some like points.
Okay, there you go. And how was your experience like working on set for Animal Kingdom?
Ugh, that was so fun. I mean, it's like you never know. It was the last season of the show, so you don't really
Mhm.
know what you're going into. Like, are people going to be kind of over it? Are they going to be tired? Like, what is the environment going to be like? But everyone was really, really welcoming, which was like kind of a really big relief for me. The director was like so kind. People really like took their time with me, which was nice because you don't know, you really, some shows they're just like, okay, you go, you do that. And it's important as an actor to know how to take care of yourself and like not need
Oh,
hand
yeah.
holding. But like having, yeah, like costume and hair and makeup treat you like you've been there just as long as anyone else was really nice. And then that was also my first experience working with an intimacy coordinator, which was something like I was really excited about doing because I think consent is really important and like I personally am really interested in stories that are real and reflect the human experience. So I knew at some point I would want to be doing like more mature content, if that makes sense. So I was really excited to like have that experience. And that intimacy coordinator was really amazing. And the actor I worked with was really amazing. So it was a very positive experience. And it was like so cool to go to a big set like that. That's just been, it had 6 years to like have its own world. So it was really, really fun to like get to step into that. And to be like, it was like Pope's first love interest. So it was like cool to like get to be that in the story too. Like it's kind of like a cool piece of the puzzle.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
And something else I noticed you've been in a holiday film, and when you're doing a film like that, does the set in like the city that you're working in, do they make it feel like it's actually Christmas, like with the fake snow and the
That's
and
such a
everything
funny
else that
question.
comes with
Yeah.
it?
That's a really fun, good question. I mean, I love Christmas movies, so I was excited to do that. And like, I'm actually writing a Christmas movie right now. It's like, it's just something that like I think every year it's so fun to like watch with your family. It's like also just like something everyone can enjoy. Um, but the funny thing about Christmas movies is they obviously don't shoot during Christmas time because they like need to be done out by Christmas. But like, so it's what I like about that is like you get Christmas when it's not Christmas time. So like I was really into that. I think we filmed in May. And yeah, it's like the set is always fun. Like there's always Christmas decorations or there's like Christmas songs. So yeah, I mean it was also like just a happier set. I mean, I think being on sets I've done projects where the character is like darker and like set can be emotionally
Mhm.
strenuous and exhausting. So it's nice to work on something sometimes where things are really happy and it's like very like, it's like all about the meaning of Christmas and family and love. So it was a very happy set and it was a blast. And I worked with Teffy on that, who's an influencer who was like a blast to work with. And I wasn't really sure how
Mhm.
like working with an influencer would be, but it was like really cool. And then obviously like just seeing Brooke Shields around
Mhm.
was like kind of iconic. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've been really pleasantly surprised at like just how amazing people are like working with them because they don't have to be that way, but like she was so nice and sweet and like yeah, just like a blast.
Oh wow, that's awesome to hear when you're actually on on set with someone who's been doing this for a while
Yeah.
and to know that they're actually like down to earth and not like their nose up in the air or whatever. Like it's good to hear like positive
Yeah, my
experiences.
experience has been like really, yeah, like everyone I've ever worked with, and it's so cool to work with people who've been working forever because they just are such pros and they just know so much and can tell you so much. They've all been like really, really nice and like you can just tell that they love it. So it's been like a really, yeah, it's been a really positive, like good experience.
Awesome, awesome. And now for the movie you mentioned before, Juniper, and you
Mhm.
wrote and you star in the film, and so you touched a little bit on why you made the film. What inspired you to make it?
Yeah, so as I said earlier, like I remember so the pandemic happened and Catherine and I had made a short film called Showing that an ex like VP of Viacom had been interested in. And so like we kind of knew we had something going and we loved working with each other. And so yeah, when the pandemic happened and like no one was working, we were just kind of like maybe we should make a feature. And I remember like watching the Duplass brothers and like watching Joe Swanberg and Lynn Shelton, who's like our biggest inspiration, and like seeing them make movies for not a lot of money. And like, so her and I were just kind of like, maybe we should do this. And like, she had been directing for a while, but hadn't directed a feature. And she was just so game to like make her directorial debut, which was like really cool. Um, and yeah, I mean, we just had like the time and we had a location available to us, which is it takes place in a cabin near Yosemite. And like we just took a crew of like 10 people and quarantined. And Madison Lawler, who plays our lead, Mac, is just such an amazing, phenomenal actress and like a joy to just constantly be around. And then Decker Sadowski, who makes up the third of our trio, like both of them were just so down to like rehearse and like make this together. So it was like truly just like a group project and like a little home movie that we ended up like selling. So yeah, it was all just like a really big happy accident, I feel like. And we really just wanted to make something together that we loved that like felt authentic. And it just like took a life of its own. And now now we're like, this is what we do together. And we just wrapped our second feature. So it's really
Nice.
crazy. Yeah.
Oh wow. And I know you said you filmed it during COVID. Like, did you get to explore town a little bit, even though it was like in the middle of COVID? Like, did you get to see anything while you were,
Yeah.
while you were there?
So the story is, and like I guess also like my main contribution as a producer on that film mainly is so my parents had a cabin in this like tiny town near
Hmm.
Yosemite, and they being very, very supportive, amazing parents that they are, were like, go film in our cabin. And luckily my aunt and uncle had another cabin in the same town. So we like all quarantined in my parents' house and then we filmed in my aunt and uncle's house. So this was a town that I had like grown up
Oh,
going
okay.
to. And like because it was like near Yosemite, like no, it's like very quiet. Like we all tested and we all quarantined, but it was like the chances of us even like seeing another human were like pretty small. But it was cool like filming. Like I had always dreamed of filming there and like spent my summers as an adolescent there and like had a lot of like experiences there like as a young um like woman and like a teenager. So it felt like pretty surreal and like just the perfect way to kind of like end my journey with that
Okay.
town, you know, like to like film
Yeah.
a movie there where I had like so many actual memories. But it was very cool to like bring a bunch of LA people there and for them to like get to be in the forest. And like I feel like location really affects the art that you make and like the film you make. So it was like summer camp for sure, which was super fun.
They were probably walking around saying, "Where are we at? There's no one here."
Yeah, and we had a crew member who like had never seen snow and it snowed and like we like went sledding. Like it was a very wholesome it was a really wholesome experience. It was really funny going from that to like our next set, which like obviously we were so happy and stoked to get to make another movie, but like to make a movie in COVID with like bare bones crew to like actually making like kind of a way more legitimate movie was like very funny. Like we had people like we had our act, we were all like in bunk beds together. It was a really yeah, like we should have made a doc about making the movie for
I
sure.
know, right? Exactly. And for anyone who hasn't heard about the film or know about it, can you tell us a little bit about who
Yeah.
you played, Dylan, and like what the film is about?
Yeah, so the film is Juniper and it was acquired by STX. So it was originally on Showtime and now it's on Tubi. STX is really cool. They did like A Man Called Otto and Hustlers, and The Irishman. And so Juniper, it's about a girl who kind of goes to her family's cabin to mourn the death of her sister. And she's, really going through something and like mourning, and her childhood best friend shows up kind of unannounced, kind of like, I'm gonna help you, which like was something we really wanted to explore of like how people process grief and like
Yeah,
also female friendships and like that dynamic. And I played Dylan, who is kind of the tag along. She's Alex's, who's the childhood best friend, her like college friend, and she's kind of stepping into this like not really knowing what's going on. And what was so fun about her, I mean, I loved playing her because she just like has so much love in her heart. And I mean, I just thought she was like the best because she just leads with love. She's also
yeah,
like a very spiritual person. So she kind of gives Mac, our main character, like a new way of looking at things in a really interesting way. And it's also like looking at how women are different, especially when you're in your 20s and figuring out who you are, like extroverts versus introverts, and people who care about what other people think of them, and then people who really like sit in their identities. And like Dylan is someone who is really herself, which was like really, it's nice to play someone like that who just like
oh
is
yeah,
so, yeah, it's nice to like get to be kind of unapologetically that way.
wow. And is there any scene that you had the most fun shooting?
Oh my God. I love just getting to reminisce. We had a little bit of a food fight, which was really fun. We're outside and Mac is kind of finally like, I need you guys to leave. And Dylan is just really stuck in the middle of it all. And it does escalate to like a pancake fight. And I just remember like our crew like losing their mind, which was really fun. I mean, it's always just fun when people are like laughing and having a good time. So like that was just I mean, I had a blast. I really like think of that movie like my first love. Like it was like just so pure and like
Yeah.
made with like such good intention, and like we crowd funded it. So like it just all felt like really like a really great way to like take a baby step into filmmaking. But yeah, I mean, I just got to like hang out with my best friends and like make jokes and be silly. So it was like a dream.
Well, I hope you didn't get hit in the face with it. A flying pancake.
I'm like trying to remember. I mean, I definitely had pancake in my hair for sure. Luckily, there was like no liquids though. I feel like that's what it gets, like sticky.
And, and what do you when of course you're not always on set, so like when you have downtime between your takes, what do you like doing between takes?
You mean on set? Like when I'm like
Yeah,
just in
yeah,
my trailer and stuff?
yeah. When you're on set.
I, that's a really good question. I mean, I love, this is such a dorky answer, but I do like love watching Monitor. Like I love, which like when you're on, like I said, like Animal Kingdom, like obviously you can't just
Yeah,
be like at Monitor. So I would say like when I'm on a bigger show, I bring a book. I do bring like a little Polaroid camera. I really like taking pictures of crew and like I have a little binder and I like put all my pictures in there. So that's something I really like to do. If it's like a more of an indie set, I am like definitely at the monitor and making friends with sound so I can have like a comm tech, which like I probably shouldn't do, but that is I mean I just love getting to see movies get made and like see people like I think people who work in the crew are so cool because they're doing a different kind of art, but they're artists, like seeing the art director making the props and like just putting so much love and care into that. So I'm always kind of like exploring and causing trouble. I also, yeah, I'd love to explore a location for sure. If I'm like on location somewhere, I
yeah.
might just be like off figuring something out, but
Nice.
not the best for the PAs.
Well, at least you're having fun, on set. Like at least you're making the day go by, because I know those days could be like 10, 12 hours long. So
Yeah, I mean, overnights are definitely another kind of beast. The film I just did, we had like a good amount of overnights, and yeah, you just lose your mind a little bit, and like
yeah, I'm sure.
hopefully you're making friends with your cast and crew so you have at least buddies to hang with. But yeah, I mean, set's kind of my favorite place in the world. So I'm like a kid in a candy store usually if I'm on set. Yeah.
And one of the recent films you just did, like, can you tell us a little bit about the recent film you made with Mike Manning, and working with Mike as the two leads?
Yeah, you know Mike, right? He's been on
I
the
do,
show
I do. He's one of my
before.
friends. Yeah.
Oh my God, Mike is the best. He's like a superhuman. I don't know how he does. He does so much so well.
I know. He's amazing. He is.
Yeah, shout out to Mike Manning. I had a blast with him. The movie is really cool. And like I said, it was my first like lead in a feature. So
Mhm.
it was a really big learning experience and like something I really wanted to challenge myself with. The film is about a young woman from the desert, which was like also very cool to like go to Joshua Tree and really kind of like learn about the people there and like really just kind of getting into that energy and feeling, which is like it's a very specific place. It's a very like magical place, I think. So it's about this girl from the desert who's kind of always like wanted more for herself, hasn't had the best, kind of a rough childhood and has recently lost her grandmother who raised her and just feeling like really, really lost, which I think a lot of us do feel in our 20s. We're like, what is going on? Who am I? What's my
Yeah,
purpose? She's like really in that.
definitely.
And that was I mean, something I definitely wanted to explore as someone who's like been through that. And she finds an alien who's played by Mike Manning, who is an amazing alien. And he kind of teaches her to like believe in herself, to like love and trust people and like to lean on people honestly and yeah really like find her voice. So yeah, the movie is really heavily, I mean, it is this adventure, this like sci-fi alien adventure film, but it's also like really about their relationship, and their friendship. So working with someone like Mike, who is such a seasoned actor and so
Right.
professional and so nice, it was like really a gift. I mean, getting to do rehearsals with him, and he's just so generous and like really cares about the story, which is super nice. It was really like an all around great experience, especially because I was like, yeah, I really want to do a good job, and I really want to like, learn on this and feel safe and feel like I can make mistakes, and like just having that support system was really nice. And like I feel like he also let me be very playful, which was like really, like
Okay.
he's down to play and he's down to like,
Oh yeah.
go crazy in a scene. So like it's really nice to work with someone like that. Because sometimes, yeah, sometimes you are acting with a tennis ball. Sometimes you do feel kind of like an island. And like that's a cool, interesting way to act too, and like more movie magic. But I really felt like I got to like just play with him, which was like, what actors just want to do.
Oh yeah, of course. It's funny too because Mike has played like like so many crazy roles, and now he can add Alien to it.
I know. And he was really excited, I think, too, because I think he's done a lot of like antagonists. And he was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh, I really get to
exactly.
play like a really sweet, like his character is so sweet and like very childlike. And I think that
Yeah.
was really fun for him. But yeah, I know his resume is crazy. I was definitely asking him lots of questions. And like, yeah, it was funny. It's funny to like to see and hear about that, when someone's just been in the industry like forever.
Definitely, definitely. And when you're not acting and auditioning for films or writing films, what do you like doing during your free time if you have any?
Yeah, I mean, I'll plug my nonprofit. So,
Okay.
I'm a huge animal lover. I mean, I have like my dolphin necklace. Um, I actually minored at NYU. I minored in animal studies, which like is a real thing. People
Okay.
are like, "What is that?" But I have loved animals my whole life and have always found them really therapeutic. And my mom started a nonprofit called Press Pause, and we do animal therapy for cancer patients and survivors. So when
Oh,
I'm not acting or auditioning, yeah, we have a little tiny ranch outside of LA, and we work with hospitals, and yeah, we do animal therapy. All of our animals here are rescued. So yeah,
wow.
I'll send you our website. That's my other like life that
Oh
I
yeah,
have.
definitely do. Yeah.
Which yeah, like I think our industry is really unpredictable. So it's really nice to have something else that feels really fulfilling. And I think animals are so amazing because they're really present and they really encourage you to just like be with them. And yeah, I think
Definitely.
they've definitely been like a really safe space for me. So it's been really cool to like also do something with animals. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's really awesome. You're doing something like
Yeah.
that. Wow, okay.
Yeah, so when I'm not here, I'm like
You're
fully
working with
out with
animals.
animals, like
Yeah.
looking very different. I look a complete mess.
And what about songs? What kind of music is on your playlist?
I love music. Well, gosh, I am definitely a Swiftie. I feel
Okay.
hesitant to say because some Swifties are very crazy. But the song I find I'm a really big fan of the songwriting. I did convert my partner from like a Kanye fan to a Taylor Swift fan, I have to say. But I love sad girl music actually.
Yeah,
I know you're kind of like an 80s, like you're into like 80s rock, right? But yeah,
definitely, definitely.
I love like Boy Genius, Phoebe Bridgers. Yeah, I love Gracie Abrams. I love like a young female singer-songwriter who's like writing about her feelings. I mean, that's kind of like me as a writer. That's like what I'm doing.
Okay,
So when
okay.
musical artists like do that, I just want to like listen to music and cry, honestly. I also love like Chapel Roan. I love Muna. So like also like queer pop. I'm really
Oh,
into. Yeah, like any musical artist who lives on the east side of LA. I feel like I've been to that.
okay, all right. Sweet.
Yeah.
And what do you think would be your go-to karaoke song if you
Oh
were
my God.
gonna go out singing?
That's such a good question. If I'm sad, I'm gonna sing Joni Mitchell for sure. Like a case of
Okay.
you. And like sit on the stage and like take my shoes off. But if I've had a little to drink, I do a pretty good Britney Spears impression, and I am a 90s
Ooh.
baby. So I would probably like do that and like just get a little, you know what I mean? That's what I would do. But that would have to be a certain vibe.
Yeah, once one, two, three, four shots in, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I would definitely have to be feeling it for sure, which is
Definitely.
like not happening so much these days, but yeah, I would probably go back to a 90s song for sure.
Nice. And I'm a big horror fan, so I always ask my guests this: Are there any horror films you like watching?
Ah, I love horror movies actually. I
Nice.
and like my career definitely started as like I felt like a kind of a scream queen, and we just made our second feature is a horror comedy. So like we definitely,
Nice.
which
Nice.
yeah, I'm excited for you to see it. But yes, every Friday night in high school, I would watch a horror movie with my friend Claire, and I have to say, like, I do love the real staples. Like, I love Rosemary's Baby, I love The
Mhm.
Shining, I love Psycho. I know they're more like psychological horrors. And then on the other side of things, like Scream, I thought was just so iconic. And like to be in a movie like Scream would be like a dream. And then I also like really like The Witch and like Midsummer and Hereditary. Like I love
Those are
quirky.
crazy films, I know.
I love crazy. Yeah, I would love a crazy film and like It Follows. I mean, I generally like, I feel like if it's a well-made horror, I'm like really into it. I'm not like so much a scary movie, those like scary movie franchise guys. I'm
Yeah,
not like
yeah.
so into those. But yeah, like obviously obsessed with Get Out. I mean,
Nice.
I think horror genre is so the variety is huge and like there's just gonna be something for everyone. I mean, my sister loves like a good shark horror. Like she loves like
Oh,
shark
yeah.
like she loves those guys, which are so fun. But yeah, I would say I'm a little more of like a traditional like Jaws, like that kind of vibe.
Oh,
Yeah. But I can get down with horror for sure.
oh, wow, that's awesome. I love that. I just went and saw that new one out. It's really good. The Abbott
Oh,
Abigail. It's
Abigail? Yeah, so
oh my God, it's so good.
I had the pleasure of meeting Tyler Gillette and talking to him a little bit about writing. And he did Ready or Not
Mhm.
and Abigail. And like, oh my God, I
Mhm.
loved Ready or Not, loved their scream. I'm sure Abigail,
Ready,
and I
Ready,
really like
Ready or Not was so good.
Catherine Newton is so good. I loved Lisa
Oh my God.
Frankenstein. I don't know if that's like it's more of a comedy than a horror, I guess. But yeah, I think she's so good. And yeah, I think Tyler's an amazing writer and director, so I'm sure it's so good.
It is definitely worth seeing. Definitely.
I need to go. Yeah, I mean, I loved Ready or Not when I saw it. I'm excited. I'm excited to
Okay.
see it.
Oh, sweet. And is there anything coming up next for you that you want to plug? I mean, I know you said you're writing, you're working on new films, and
Yeah, I mean, I'm working on a couple new things. We're in post for our film Theater's Dead. I'm really plugging that. So Theater's Dead is our comedy horror. It's my second film with Madison Lawler, Decker Sadowski, and Catherine Dudas, who did Juniper with me. And it's like it's kind of all of our hearts and souls, and it's like really fucking insane. Sorry, I don't know if I can swear on here. It's like
oh yeah, you can.
feral. And it's such a good time, and our cast is like so amazing. Like our cast is so good. We have Dylan Adler, who's like an up and coming comedian. Jacob
Mhm.
Nichols. We have Shane West, who's like a 90s
Yeah,
heartthrob.
last
Like
year.
it's really like I'm so excited. So that we're in post for right now. And then yeah, Unexpected Treasures. I think they're both going to be on the circuit at the same time, which will be really fun and cool. And then yeah, Catherine and I are gonna make our little Christmas movie, but that's a ways away.
Nice. And the last thing that I will ask you is where can fans follow you at?
Oh yeah, you can follow me at Olivia Blue underscore on Instagram. I'm a millennial Gen Z like cusp, but I TikTok I would say is like not exactly my bag yet. But yeah,
Okay.
Instagram at Olivia Blue underscore. Please watch Juniper. It's free, it's on Tubi. And then yeah, keep an eye out for Theater's Dead and Unexpected Treasures. They should be really, really fun times.
Awesome. Well, it was really good chatting. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Great questions. Yeah, and
Thank
wait,
you.
what's your favorite horror movie?
My favorite horror movie is actually this old 80s horror that a lot of people didn't hear of. It's called Night of Night of the Demons.
Mm.
it's like a 1987, 88, I think it was made.
Oh, I gotta look it up. Yeah, I recently auditioned for West, the guy who did like Nightmare on Elm Street, and I was like, "Oh my
Yeah,
God,
yeah, yeah.
you're amazing. Did you know you're amazing?" That's great. Okay, I'll have to check it out.
Oh yeah, it's good. It's a good, it's like a cheesy horror film, but I like those
We
kind of
love
films.
those. Yeah. We can definitely get into those. Cool.
Nice. Well, thanks again for doing this. Like it was really fun meeting you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I hope I see you in person.
Oh my God, yeah, definitely.
Well, thank you so much.
All right. Have a really good day and rest of the week.
You too. Okay.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. There we go.